Leadership is a trait that is held in high regard in most societies. The ability to influence individuals to draw them together and become a whole in order to work towards a common goal. Taken to the furthest extent, this attribute can manifest itself in positions of power. One, or a group, presiding over the general populace. But what if the general populace was made up of magical equines? Well, then we'd be talking about the nation of Equestria, of course, and at the very top of the horse hierarchy sits the ruler, the leader, the princess. Easily identified, yes, but though perhaps not readily understood. The next step in the quest for absolute pony knowledge gives us this inquiry. What is a princess? Like the first friend you ever made in elementary school, let's return to good old Merriam-Webster. It states a princess is a woman having sovereign power, a female member of a royal family, or a woman of high standing in her class or profession. Thank you, Merriam-Webster, that was actually really useful. Exhibit A is the one, the only Princess Sunbud, the sovereign ruler of the land of Equestria. She is the head of government, fulfilling many of the duties a head of state would, such as spearheading international relations, overseeing bureaucracy, presiding over local government disputes, and the ever-important smiling and waving. She is also the head of the School of Gifted Unicorns and is responsible for raising the entire sun. Though that doesn't necessarily fall under the purview of a head of government, it's mostly due to the fact that she's a fucking deity. Next, of course, is her sister, Princess Luna. Her duties consist of raising and lowering the moon. More importantly, though, she serves as a preventative measure for insomnia. That sounds really freaking useful, not gonna lie. These two are also regarded as the protectors of Equestria, historically defeating such threats like Discord and King Sombra. Although lately their track record has been, yeah, no wonder they're hell-bent on retirement.
Hit me with the very best shot you've got.
The equestrian system of government can be categorized as a monarchy, technically a diarchy since there are two figureheads, though in practice, Celestia seems to be the main ruling party. Despite this, there are democratic elements evident in lower positions of power. Mayors are the heads of towns like Ponyville, Philadelphia, and Baltimore. Also, the Grand Equestria Pony Summit hosted delegates in leadership positions, supposedly from across the country. However, royalty still presides at the very top of everything. Speaking of royalty, let's shift to Celestia's adopted niece,
Princess Mi Amore Cadenza,
or Cadence for the unpretentious. She's granted the title of the ruler of the Crystal Empire, either by Celestia using nepotism to gain more territory, or simply for the sake of the plot. But actually, if you read the comics, which you all should, Cadence is stated to be a descendant of Princess Amore, the first princess of the Crystal Empire, which would give her claim to the throne. Then, with the birth of Flurryheart, she would be the successor of her mother's kingdom. In this way, we see royal families operate as they conventionally would. Lineage gives claim to the ruling title. In order to be a royal, one must be born as a royal.
You're not just wrong, you're stupid.
Introducing Twilight Sparkle, daughter of Twilight Velvet and Nightlight, who seemingly have no inherent royal blood. Nevertheless, she ascends to a position of power as Princess of Friendship. Does this mean that her two parents are now King and Queen of Friendship? I don't know, if they're captivated by free tickets on a Zeppelin cruise, it's highly doubtful. They just seem like proud Midwestern parents at this point.
Ratchet.
Whoa! On the one hoof, an established order of succession. On the other hoof, no such tradition. Then again, that's probably for the better, or else we'd get this prick in charge of running the show. So that leads to another question. Where are the kings and queens? So in equestrian history, the notable figure to hold the title of king was a tyrant. Perhaps the lack of these designations was intentional, due to the negative connotation. So despite Celestia and Luna holding all the prestige, power, and duties of queens, they are in fact called princesses. No doubt Disney had something to do with it, they sure love monetizing the word princess. This notion does seem to be exclusive to Horseland, and does not extend to any of the other kingdoms. For behold, non-horse royalty. Where does all of our research leave us? At the end of it all, I offer this proposition. Princess is a title, granted by those in power, equivalent to either a duke/duchess, earl/countess, or baron/baroness, depending on the territory they preside over. Much like European hereditary peerages, it can be passed down through blood once the progeny meets the necessary requirements. Seemingly, this requirement is alicornication. Celestia and Luna assumed the titles once they became sovereign over Equestria. Cadence was given the title, or inherited the role, over the Crystal Empire, depending on what you view as canon, which she will pass on to Flurryheart. Finally, Twilight Sparkle, successor to Celestia, was bestowed the rank, along with her wings. Now that we've cracked the code, I suppose there's only one last thing to say. God save the princess. Then we hit G5 and we get a Queen of Zephyr Heights, 2 Pegasi princesses, and an alicorn with no kingdom. What is happening?